Welcome to the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube. This is our Awakening Together weekly gathering. Each and every week we have a different minister who speaks. If you'd like to attend our services live, please visit our website awakening-together.org. Click on Online Sanctuary on the main menu. Then, How to Enter the Sanctuary. Our services are held Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary.
I'm just really happy to be here. And our purpose. We are an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. With an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. For this moment, this weekly gathering, I have chosen core value number 5. We accept all forms as temporary appearances permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continually reflecting on changeless truth. And before we begin the announcements, I just want to add that additionally, it is my intention in the next hour or so not to teach anything new. My intention is to open the door to allow for an undoing. Yeah? We are the love that we seek. That's part of my faith statement. So it is my intention to simply be that and to share that and to open the space for a little relaxation and a little bit more joy for all of us. With that said, it is time for announcements. And of course, singing actually starts. It's this question: do you trust me? And in another point in the song, you hear the words, "Don't you dare close your eyes." And the key is, as you relax into this song, just open to the possibility that life really is this magical. Yeah. Thank you. And now, the prayer. Set the intention. And I am called to simply recite the same prayer I've been using in my Wednesday teaching and have been using in my day-to-day. And it comes from A Course in Miracles, lesson 233. I give my life to God to run today. Father, I give you all my thoughts today. I would have none of mine. In place of them, give me your own. I give you all my acts as well, that I may do your will, instead of seeking goals that I cannot obtain and wasting time in vain imaginings. Today, we come to you. Step back and merely follow you. You be the guide. I the follower, who questions not the wisdom of the infinite, nor the love whose tenderness I cannot comprehend, but is yet your perfect gift to me. I can tell you that I am choosing to step back That doesn't mean that Cyndi isn't feeling fear. And yet at the same time, I feel the love, not only of the divine and truth, but of everyone here. I can feel it. So I say thank you. I can tell you that I prepared for today, and yet I give my willingness to speak only what comes through me, trusting that it will be perfect for all of us, that it will meet all of us where we are and take us where the divine wishes us to be. I am beyond grateful that my friend Rico has agreed to read for us today. I had Dove once say that Rico just simply carries love wherever he goes, and I think you'll find that is true. He's going to read from the Epilogue of the Way of Liberation, and before I hand it over to him and his brightly colored shirt, a quote from Adyashanti to fit in with this gathering. The reality that these teachings are pointing toward is not hidden or secret or far away. At this very moment, reality and completeness are in plain sight. And with that, my friend Rico, I hand the mic to you.
Good morning. Imagine that one morning you wake up, and as you open your eyes, you suddenly realize that everything is not as it used to be. And I mean everything. Not that anything looks different to the eye, but rather what is doing the looking has somehow changed or mutated in some strange and unpredictable way. And there you are, just stepping out of bed, wondering if you are actually still fast asleep under the covers, dreaming this strange dream. But you are not dreaming, and you know it. You know that you are not dreaming with certainty unlike you have ever felt before. In fact, you realize that every moment of this day of your life up to just a few moments ago was spent in a state of unconscious sleepwalking that felt so real and so true that you had never even thought to question its validity. The consensus opinion is that once you are out of bed and walking around, you are very awake. But it simply isn't true. How do you not notice something so obvious? But that's not all, not by a long shot. Imagine that you are noticing this strange changing taking place within you, that something even more unsettling occurs to be you. And there is no inside of you. In fact, there is no self to be inside of. So you start looking for yourself. How on earth did you lose yourself? After all, you are not a pair of slippers that you can just misplace. You are you. And you must be around here somewhere, mustn't you? But no matter where you look inside, you cannot find yourself as anyone or anywhere in particular. All the old thoughts and all the old memories no longer pertain to you yourself. They are empty of self, that is. Even that face in the mirror that seems so familiar is without a self. It never had one, except the one you made up in your mind. And even the one you made up never really had a self to begin with. You look out the window and there is no out there. Everywhere you look is somehow in here, wherever here is. So you look through the window and everything out there or over there is inside of you. And not just inside of you, but is you. The ground and trees and fence over there, as well as the sky overhead and the white puffy clouds, everything is you. It doesn't make sense, but it's about as obvious as breathing. What's a self that's the same as everything else? This is strange indeed. Imagine that you're now walking down the sidewalk listening to the neighbors talking to each other when it occurs to you that they are making it all up. All the stories, all the little judgments, all the firmly held opinions, all the he should haves and she should haves, and what I think is are all made up but taken to be real. It's like they're playing make-believe, but forgetting that it's all imagination or getting lost in last night's dream. How could they be taking what they're saying so seriously, as if any of it mattered or had its basis in reality? How could they not see? But they don't see. To them, it's their reality, the only one they know or probably ever will know. How very strange. Now imagine that you stop to sit on a bench in a park. As you sit there, everything stops, absolutely stops. Your mind is so still and quiet that you can hear dust particles floating in the air. Suddenly you are falling and falling and falling. There is no ground below or sky overhead, just crushing, thunderous silence, racing faster and faster. You suddenly realize that it's going to kill you, rip you limb by limb, and explode your lungs into dust. There's no way out, no possible means of survival. And so you do the only thing there is to do. Surrender. All goes blank and empty, more empty than limitless space. Prior to life and death, you blink out of, or is it into, existence. Timelessness is all there. Timelessness is all there is, all there ever or could be. Eternity reigns supreme, and it is radiantly present in every particle of being. Something unborn and undying stirs to life and opens its eyes. Your eyes. You or it is still sitting on the park bench. It is smiling, radiant, and content. A little girl on roller skate passes by. The sun glitters through the aspen leaves as an old man smokes his pipe on a footbridge crossing a stream that feeds into a pond filled with goldfish. Everywhere you look is emptiness. Each thing is a veil, a shroud cloaking infinity. Nothing is as it seems, and everything is exactly as it is. Somehow perfect in all its apparent chaos, infinity prevails. You know with exact precision that there is nothing else. Nothing could be other than this vast and absolute void, this pure and infinite potential, this unborn and unformed infinity. You reflect back over your life and realize that everything that ever happened or could happen, from birth to all the ups and downs of this ephemeral life, to strange realizations of spiritual awakening, to this exact moment outside of time, was and is the momentary display, a blip, really, of infinite, limitless potential coming into and going out of existence. An old friend finds you sitting on the bench in the park. She sits down beside you and asks, "What are you up to?" You love her as friends do, but what can you say? You're already speechless and as quiet inside as the dead. She doesn't know it, but you're in two different worlds, strangely intersecting here on this park bench. How do you reach across infinity to communicate with her? For a moment, you strain inside for the words with which to respond. There is silent pause. Is she on to me? Does she suspect something is different? A cool breeze caresses your face and the universe smiles inside you. Oh, nothing really, you say. Absolutely nothing.
Thank you, Rico. I am love because of you. Love because of us. I have a question. Why are you here? Do you know? Here's another question. What brought you here? Is there a part of you that believes that you controlled, chose the steps that brought you to this very moment? Could you have guessed 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago? Did you envision a moment where you were a member of a group such as this, awakening together? People from all over the world committed to truth, to knowing themselves as love. Did you set a goal, create a plan, take clear steps that you, the individual, put in place? I'll bet every dime in my bank account that you'll have to admit that that just ain't so. Next question. What is it about this moment, right now, that you believe needs to change in order for you to, lots of different words, know the peace of God, experience life as a continual magic carpet ride, know the bliss of nothingness that Adyashanti speaks of, and that states quite clearly over and over and over again. It's right here, right now. What is it that holds you back? So 20 some odd years ago, I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in anything that I couldn't see. I had a mortgage, an unhappy marriage. I worked as an engineer. I had 2 children in diapers and debilitating panic attack daily, right? There was no part of Cyndi then that would have known to dream of the life that I'm living now. So it's easy for me to state clearly that I didn't orchestrate any of it. Good enough, right? The first thing that I remember that began the shift, my ex-husband had a friend who had a sister that just got her massage license. And so it was an easy thing for him to gift me with a massage. I don't remember the massage. It was I do remember it was a small kind of corner rented, you rent the room by the hour kind of place. And there was a piece of paper on the wall. It somehow it lit up. Now here again, this is life before anything other than engineering and children and insanity in the mind, right? And not even knowing where to go. But there was a piece of paper on the wall, a name, and an invitation to experience something called energy healing. No clue. But Cyndi reached up and took one of those little pieces of paper, you could cut them off for those of us before the age of social, And I called the number and I made an appointment. No idea why, right? My last major panic attack was the first time I was on this woman's table, and I can't even remember her name. But she touched my shoulder, and an insane amount of fear rose up. Thought I was going to die, and then it went out. And everything changed after that, right? Though I didn't know it. But I also didn't control it. I couldn't have. That's the key, right? That's the key to today's message. Is that there isn't anything you or I need to do to control what is happening. We're here, so our vibration is raising. We could kick and scream and carry on if we want. It won't change the fact that we are perfectly cared for. And because I've said that now twice, because Dove is here, I'm going to read one of his favorite passages from A Course in Miracles, Workbook Lesson 135. What could you not accept if you but knew that everything that happens, all events past, present, and to come, are gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good? So I accept that. I accept what I learned, Gentle Healing 1, right? Where at one point Regina stated, and her last homily, she stated the same thing. She did her teaching about faith, and there was the one day in Gentle Healing 1 where she talked about faith. And so how it arises in me, we always have faith. That's the teaching. And we can choose now, we could choose consciously what to have faith in. It doesn't change what happens in our conditioning, right? Talk about that in a minute. But I begin every day and I hold it in my space that I choose, whatever that means, to place my faith in these teachings. I choose to know that the split is healing, the dream is dissolving, that it's working, all right? I choose to know that I am the love that I seek. I choose to know that all is well, that it's always well. I still live in the first thought of awakening on day 1 of Gentle Healing 2. I accept all things as a gift from the Holy Spirit for the purpose of my peace and the awakening to joy. Though it may be that the same beautiful, loving presence that lit up that piece of paper 20 years ago is doing the choosing, I don't care. When I have a choice, when I am feeling pain and constriction, I practice. I hold in front of me at all times the conscious decision to know that all is well. To know that I am the love that I seek. That whether I do the work or not is immaterial. I will be absorbed back into the Tao. I can't change that. What I can change, and what I am so grateful to say that this body, mind, personality is on the journey, just like if you're here, so are you. Like you could believe it or not, it doesn't matter. Something brought you here. So it means you're on this journey too, to know yourself as love in this lifetime. You know, I heard Regina state Thursday night, that being sucked back in, these are my words, not hers. I'm not going to pretend to be able to quote her. But what she stated Thursday night was that whether or not, we have the experience that Adyashanti pointed to in the reading in this lifetime while staying in this body, being able to be sucked back into the formless and yet still be in a walking, moving, breathing body for a while. That's out of our control. But what we are all on in this body, mind, personality lifetime, and I could say that confidently because we're here, is that we are able to know ourselves as consciousness, as I am. Many of us already do. We have the tools, the tricks, the techniques to see conflict when it rises, to see the pain when it arises, and look at it, and in faith, choose to step away and know that that is just conditioning, that is just the next block to love's presence coming up, and as we bring it to awareness, we could watch it dissolve. So knowing that all is well, yeah, knowing that we are perfectly cared for, having faith that the healing work is happening, doesn't mean that the body, mind, personality doesn't experience anger, fear, guilt, shame. Doesn't mean we don't get triggered. We do. We do. In studying Ramesh and Who Cares, thanks to Beverly. Thank you, Beverly. I think I see you down there. Thank you for introducing me to this teaching. His teaching reminds me that how I respond in any given moment happens because of conditioning. It happens because it happens. It's out of my control. It's just me being a program toaster, right? Cyndi is the program toaster, feeling fear when this happens or pain when that happens. And yet, by the very act of being here, by saying yes to the opportunity to teach and rest the story and bring the pain to awareness, essentially what we're doing is we're reconditioning this body, mind, personality toaster. So our next automatic response changes. As we say yes to this work and take in the information and the knowledge and show up for the dyads, and if you haven't yet, man, the purification course completely transforms my experience with pain, right? Michael Singer reminds us over and over and over again, if we want this. If we want to be a vessel for truth, then we get comfortable with pain. And that's all he really says. You don't touch it. You don't try to fix it. We don't try to change the world so that our pain goes away. That doesn't make the pain go away. What that does is feed breathing attention to the pain. So when the pain comes up, which it does, I could sit here and know that love is all I am, and yet, somebody on the street looks at me like I have toilet paper on my shoe, and I contract. The pain, pain rises. And then the practice kicks in. It becomes automatic. What a beautiful opportunity to release the belief that the world is something other than an expression of what we've been given believing attention to. So we're doing well. I'm going to now read from Bill Hicks, not necessarily always known as a great spiritual teacher, except that this one particular comedy routine, as it were, is one of my all-time favorite voices of truth. And so I printed it out. And here it goes. Tell me it isn't the same as what Aladdin spoke, or A Course in Miracles, or Adyashanti. The world is like a ride in an amusement park. And when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. The ride goes up and down, around and around. It has thrills and chills, and it's brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Many people have been on the ride a long time, and they begin to wonder, hey, is this real? Or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us and say, hey, don't worry. Don't be afraid. Ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut them up. I've got a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. No, it's just a ride. But we always kill the good guys who try to tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok. But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride. And we can change it at any time we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. Just a simple choice. Right now. Between fear and love. The eyes of fear want you to put bigger locks on your doors, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love instead see all of us as one. You can choose love right now, no matter what's going on in your world. Here's my experience, though. Right? When I choose love, regardless of what's going on in the world, when I step up every day and I say some version of, here I am, God, my spiritual aspiration is to be truth, to be only truth, and to serve truth until such time that that is all I know. And by the way, I define truth as that which has no opposite. So if there's conflict, there's no truth. If my truth is different than your truth, it's not true. If there's gray in the interpretation of truth, that is also not the truth of which I choose to serve. Truth has no opposite, no complaint, no judgment, no guilt, no anger. Truth simply is. So what happens is that I step forth every day and I say, here's my spiritual aspiration. This is all I want, to be truth. And I give my willingness to serve that truth until the moment that there is nothing else but truth. Here's what happens then. The universe loves me so very much that it brings to my conscious awareness everything that blocks it at a level that I can handle, right? Because this healing that we've signed up for is gentle. If you're here, then we've signed up for a gentle path. We have. You're here, which means you have internet. I imagine there's food in your refrigerator. Your heart is open. You're receiving this message. We're on a gentle path. So all these worldly beliefs and thoughts, does he like me? Is my children okay? Can I pay the rent? What do I do about this physical diagnosis? It doesn't matter. I've stated very clearly, this is all I want. The universe loves me so much that it brings to consciousness everything that blocks my desire. And then I get to choose what to do. This is really the only choice I feel like we consciously can make, right? Do we choose to trust the guru, which I now know Ramesh taught me. Guru means remover of darkness. I didn't know that until I just read it a couple of days ago, and I love that. And I love Beverly's smile. I'm so grateful for all of our teachers, right? So guru is the remover of the darkness. The remover, what happens when we remove the darkness? True knowledge appears. We don't have to take it in from the world, right? It's just there. It's what happens when we refuse to accept the world as our teacher. The world literally just is there to show us our blocks. So we look at whatever it is and we feel the inner turmoil. And then we rest the mind. Awareness alone is curative, right? In the last couple of weeks, I committed during a retreat. I think it's almost 2 years ago already. I believe it was the I Am Bad retreat or the Awakening at Home retreat. One of those retreats, I committed to putting pen to paper every day, you know? And mostly it's so that spirit could teach me, guide us. And in the last couple of weeks, I heard the word stop. I don't like that word, you know. I didn't like the word. I resisted the word. It's different than pause. You know, we're all kind of been told to pause and rest and step back. That's gentle, but stop. So I asked. And it took days, you know, for me to fully understand the teaching behind stop. And it's no different than, and then rest, accept, and trust, or the 6th step, or the work, right? Here's my current understanding of stop. The S stands for surrender. Just be willing to let go of everything you think you know. I don't understand any of what's going on. And if I am contracted in any given moment, part of that is because I'm believing something that isn't true. Since truth is I'm perfectly cared for, if I'm feeling angst or scared in any way, and there is a belief, an internal, right? Regina taught us in that homily about faith, that our body conditioning, there's faith there, and we'll know what it is by our automatic reaction to what's going on around us. So when we're anything other than the peace of God, we can surrender whatever these beliefs are, known or unknown. Just surrender. T is trust. Do you trust the Guru? Do you trust the teachings? Trust that regardless of what the world is showing you, regardless of the story, can you give your willingness to trust that all is well? Oh, stay open. Accept the atonement. That's what that means to me. I will accept the atonement for myself. I learned it here too. You know, for some reason, even as a Course in Miracles student for however many years, it was in the sanctuary. I can't even remember when now. And part of that is because I've now accepted that it's the teachings, not the teacher. So the specific teacher, my friend Susan, I see her shining face, right? She suggested to me once that it might be useful for me to stop giving credit to all the different teachers as I quote them and allow just the teaching to come through, right? So I don't remember who it was. Yeah, now I do. It was Liz Cronkite. Somehow I understood now the atonement is simply to accept correction, not guilt, not the sense of being wrong, but when I say I accept the atonement for myself, essentially what I'm saying is that I'm ready to be corrected. That if I'm feeling contraction, it is because there's a belief in my system that is there because it's the way I've been conditioned and programmed. And without guilt, without defense, without justification, without attack, I accept the atonement. I stay open and I am willing for correction to take place within me. Period. Yeah. What's so interesting is that it took days and days before I understood the P. My conditioning wanted to be all over that P and stop. First, it was program, process. For a little while, it was somehow the ego wanted to hijack that P and tell me I had to do something. You know, I had to take it to the rat, or I had to do 6-step, or I had to journal, or go to another diet, or read another book, or take another course. It's not the P. And then, for a little while, and I taught it this way, at least once or twice or 3 times, the P stood for pause. And that works. And maybe the P for you, if you decide to play with stop for a while, maybe it means pause. Something just felt out of alignment. It wasn't what I was being told. It was again Cyndi hijacking teaching. So I brought it over and over and over again. What is most useful? I now know P means purpose. What is my purpose? Remember my purpose. My spiritual aspiration is to be truth. In NTI, we're told the only purpose worth having is to know thyself, which is the same. I suggest that your purpose, doesn't matter what words you use, it's whatever your spiritual aspiration is. And I suggest and I expect that if you're here in this room as an Awakening Together member, you have at least toyed with knowing your spiritual aspiration. Simple, it's a few words that we hold in our consciousness all the time. Our spiritual aspiration is our GPS, right? It reminds us where we're going. That coupled with being willing to be wrong about everything, which is what allows correction. Trusting the guru. Trusting that all is well. Surrendering. Letting go. Being still. Resting the story. Allowing that as we rest, healing is happening. That's all it takes, you know. As I sit here, almost unable to speak because of the energy that's moving through this toaster. Thank you, Beverly. Oh man. If you take anything from today's gathering, it's that all is well, that you literally are love itself, and that you don't have to change. We're here because there's no place else to be, whether you know it or not. We're doing the work because why wouldn't we? There isn't any outer goal to achieve. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to say to no one. Love is here right now. I have one more quote. I don't start crying. This is from a man, I have no idea if he exists. It's this giant book of quotes. I open it every day. I've never really seen him taught in this sanctuary, Wu Sin. But every day he helps me open a portal to truth. I'm going to read this quote twice, Shauna. And I'm going to read it slow. Why? I'm not sure. But I will. Each being is a moment in time with a name and a form and a script to be performed in this play called life. None choose the name, nor the form, nor the script. Yet each believes himself to be the master of his destiny. Once their sight clears, they too will laugh. Each being is a moment in time with a name and a form and a script to be performed in this play called life. None choose the name, nor the form, nor the script. Yet each believes himself to be the master of his destiny. Once their sight clears, they too will laugh. This feels like a great time to play this next song. which, by the way, comes from one of my all-time favorite movies. So, I believe that Sina has posted a link for anyone that feels called to donate to Awakening Together. All gratefully received. You could also use your phone and that cool little barcode. It is this time that we open up, for whoever wants to share. Just raise your hand. We have a few minutes. If not, we have another song. Oh, Dove, go for it. So happy you're here. There you are.
All righty. Thank you so much, Cyndi, Reverend Cyndi. That was so heartfelt. I mean, there's no one that heard your homily that didn't know that it was just pure love that came from you. Just the simplicity of God just flows right through you, truly. And I just thank you for being in my life for so many reasons. I love you. Thank you.
Love is the way I walk in gratitude. Anybody else want to speak into this space? Well, Sina, this last song is the song when people come and they ask for my assistance and they're looking for a shift into a new state or a new way of being. I suggest that they play this song on repeat. It often doesn't take more than once. But why don't we end with a beautiful day? Thank you for being here. I love us all so very much. Sina, all yours.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.